Hello, this is Matt's Amazing Mazes, and I'd like to share with my subscribers and my viewers about Jesus Christ on how he put himself in a humble position, a lowly position, because he was overhearing his followers saying to each other who is the greatest and who is the most greatest of all of them, and there were his followers was being prideful and I guess a little bit selfish, trying to lord it over his other companions, whatever that may be. But however, like a drill sergeant, um, he teaches his men discipline by yelling in their face and belittling them so they can learn discipline in that form of matter. However, Jesus took a different route on the very same subject. Instead of Jesus yelling at his disciples, he taught them discipline by lowering himself in a humble, lowly position by washing their feet. So, saying that pretty much you need to do the same as I did to you to other people, and put yourself also in a lowly position, a humble position, like I did with you, and pass it on to the next person. Instead of debating and with pride and selfishness. But however, he took a different approach. Um, However, yelling at a person and belittling them, it's not really the way to go. Um, I don't think it's necessary to do it in that form of matter. However, instead of getting back at someone for what they did to you emotionally, physically, or mentally, or try to bring you down spiritually, um, you should endure. You should endure all those things that people do to you, and put yourself in a humble position and not retaliate against them. It says here in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 10, "So I take pleasure in weaknesses, in insults, in times of need, in persecutions, and difficulties for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am powerful." And as you notice in the maze, there's three key elements of that scripture. There's there's three discussions of what the scripture brought out. On the upper left corner of the maze, it says endure insults. From below that, it says endure persecution. And on the upper right corner, it says endure all forms of difficulties. And instead of like a soldier go to war, what does he do? He kills the enemy. However, in Romans chapter 12 verse 18 says, "If possible, as far as it depends on you, be peaceable with all men." That 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 term, which it says all men who is probably unrighteous or bad people or even wicked people. It doesn't say all that in that scripture, but it says to all men of all forms of different shape and form or whatever, of what they are, you know. Um, Different backgrounds, you know. People who probably will persecute you. It even says in Matthew chapter 5 verse 44, however, continue to love your enemies and to pray for those who persecute you. Matthew chapter 5 verse 44. As you noticed, it says on the upper left corner, which is the start, when I am weak, and then go to the lower right corner, it says then I am powerful. Okay, when you start out the maze, you are in a weak position because you had to face obstacles, dead ends, and going into a dead end will make you appear that you are weak. But the thing is challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Challenge your weakness, because when you make it to the destination and you accomplish it, that weakness will be your power, because you endured the maze, you endured it. Um, you 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 suffered in the maze, but you finished the destination of the maze, which you accomplished, which makes you powerful because you finished the race of the maze. So yeah, I thought this would be some food for thought. You know, it's like if someone insults you, you know, turn the other cheek. You know, um, just let it go. And if someone is persecuting you, endure it. Don't retaliate against them. Turn the other cheek. When 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 you are faced with difficulties, endure all forms of those difficulties. You know, because once you endure those difficulties, you endure it while you're weak, but once you endure it, it gives you strength um, to press on forward, and and then eventually you will overcome those difficulties, like the difficulties in the maze, which is the dead ends. You'll overcome those dead ends, and you'll find the way out, which is your destination. So I thought this was an interesting way of perceiving um, to endure all forms of different types of stuff, and to embrace it, you know, because it says here, so I take pleasure in weaknesses. You embrace it, even though it's an uncomfortable position to be. You embrace it because you endure it, and it gives you strength. That's why it gives you pleasure, because you're challenging yourself to overcome all those weaknesses, all those insults, all those persecutions, all those difficulties. It strengthens you spiritually, pretty much, you know. Some people may think this is weakness, but it really ain't, you know. And that's the worldly view. The worldly view perceive weakness as something bad to do, and they think being tough and being strength, having strength and being tough, and eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, will get you somewhere. But it won't. All it will do is cause you more problems with yourself, with other people, people you don't know, with family members. All it will do is cause confrontations and fights, and we don't want confrontations, and we don't want fights. So I'm just going to leave it at that, give you some food for thought, you know. As what I say in my previous videos. 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Do not believe every inspired statement, but test the inspired statements to see whether they originate with God, for many false prophets have gone forth into the world. See, that's what we must do. We must test those inspired expressions. We must test those spirits. We must test those inspired statements, because it strengthens us, and it tests us to see if we're still in the faith. So I'm going to let you go now. Hey, Matt's Amazing Maze is signing off. See ya in the next video that I make.